So if you have like puncture, it'll puncture for twice the duration. If you have a granite, your granite will be up for twice the duration. If you have endurance charges, it'll be up for twice the duration. Oh my god, I just died.
What?
Yes, I did end up dying. So, kind of sucks. Most of the reason why I haven't been playing PoE that much, in fact, yesterday I played mostly Hearthstone, is one, because I mostly made this character try to play with Crippy. Crippy lost his first character, so I'm mostly playing by myself while he was trying to catch up a little bit. But, you know, my main in PoE is pretty much going to be the Discharger. I made this character because I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea. I thought it might, show people a way that the Wander might work again. And, I can probably show you guys that still. But, I'm going to talk about what's going on and why PoE really sucks on my new computer, the new laptop that I have set up here while I'm in California, and why I probably won't be playing PoE until I get back home. So, before I get into the build, basically the laptop that I bought, it's really solid hardware. I tested all the hardware, there's nothing wrong with it. And the main issue is that if I wanted a laptop with the new CPU, I had to get Windows 8. I looked into Windows 8, some people had complaints, but people always have complaints, so I kind of dismissed most of them and figured I'd kind of deal with it. I mean, how bad could it be, right? Well, Windows 8 is a piece of shit. Most of the problems that I have had in relation to crashing in PoE, in relation to crashing in anything, including stream programs and all that, it's just crash city. I'd load up PoE would crash. I'd load up the stream program would crash. I'd load up, control panel, click on sounds, the control panel would crash. I even had, Notepad crash. Mozilla crashes all the time. Just everything crashes nonstop, back to back to back, and it's a real piece of shit. And on top of that, this laptop has some kind of technology. It's called like NVIDIA Optimus technology, where to my understanding, everything gets output through the integrated graphics card. And, while possibly it's not that advanced or anything, and I'm sure they had good ideas in mind and to try to forwarding performance and all that, it seems that it doesn't really work very well with some games, and those games include Path of Exile. And what happens is you get huge FPS drops, and the game crashes, and you blue screen. And I was pretty lucky earlier in the week. I did blue screen while playing and streaming Path of Exile, and I was in the game for roughly 25 seconds. And I know I was in that long because Crippy's over there, and I was watching his screen. And about 25 seconds after my computer blue screen, my character left. So that really sucked, and it really sucks dying the way that I did. And it is what it is. It's not a huge loss in terms of a character because the character that I want to play is my Discharger, but it's a pretty huge loss in terms of the items because, I'm not particularly rich in PoE, and I lost, many exalts worth of gear on the death, so meh. But nonetheless, on the bright side, before I continue playing non-Path of Exile related games for the next few days here, I want to show you guys kind of what I had in mind of this character, because I'm sure some of you guys will take something important from it and perhaps get a little bit more innovative with your own builds. So the idea is as follows. In Path of Exile, in the new version, the auras are really OP. Like Anger, this is like level 15 or something. It's probably not even that. I'm level 59 on this character. 58 to 97. And it would only get a little bit better after this. I don't have like a setup type of build for this character, but I want to show you guys what I had in mind and how it kind of works together. So the build is a Templar. The main weakness of the build is I don't have very high armor, but I have armor and I have evasion, and I have to try to play pretty carefully, but I think the damage would be extremely high. The idea behind the build is that you'd go Power Siphon with a wand, and you would pretty much get close to 100% chance to crit, and you will do damage based on the Ignite. So this is the build as it is at level 59. This is based on a elemental cleave build because it's pretty similar in terms of the build and the gear selection, aside from the weapons, of course. The talents that I want as a Wander would be all the power charges. I'm in range of all of them, so there's 1, 2, 3 there, and I haven't done the bandits yet, so it'd be a 4th, so I'll have 7 total power charges. I ended up getting assassination there. I'd probably even pick the 20 crit chance. Have to get the crit there. Have to get the crit there. I was planning on getting the aura effect there, and Eldritch Battery. And the reason you need Eldritch Battery is because using Anger and Wrath and probably a very low level of Clarity is still going to require a decent mana buffer to use, these pretty expensive skills. Usually when you play a Wander, your skills cost a crap load of mana, but this isn't quite so. It's a little bit different, and I'll show you guys how that works. So the build, you guys just have to figure it out. Now, the character as it is right now, it just has like a bunch of random gear, but it's typical stuff. You want elemental damage, but as opposed to the normal Wander build where you actually want cold damage, because it's really cool to freeze everything on the screen, you actually don't want cold damage with this build. In fact, you have to avoid cold damage absolutely. And the reason that is because your primary attack is going to be Power Siphon, which is the typical wand skill, weapon elemental, so you can scale your auras and all the other damage that you have on your gear. You're going to want to use additional accuracy because your accuracy is going to be really shit, and quality additional accuracy gives you a crit chance bonus. So I think I have 2 of the gems. You can see that 1 quality on the gem gives you 2% critical chance, which is pretty good. Originally I had thought of using the increased critical strikes gem, but additional accuracy, because the monsters can avoid your crit after you hit the mob, the additional accuracy gem will actually give you more crit despite the tooltip crit being higher. So you want to use additional accuracy, you want to use Power Siphon, you want to use Weapon Elemental, and the other ones that are probably a little bit less common are going to be crit damage, which seems pretty suicidal, but I think will work quite well, and proliferation. And I'm going to be using proliferation with the Holy Fire nodes. So I guess I get increased burning damage. So I'm going to have crit multiplier, I'm going to have crit multiplier gem, I'm going to have crit multi, hopefully in a few other items. I don't know if I'd use stuff like Malagaras, but I'd definitely use stuff like a crit multi necklace, and I have a few crit multi talents as you saw in the passive tree. The idea is you do an elemental wand attack. It does high lightning and high fire because of your gear and your auras and the elemental scaling through wands, which is obscene. It'll crit almost every time because I was planning to use an 11 base crit wand, 1.3 attack speed. The stats weren't particularly good, but it allowed for an achievable rate of almost 100% chance to crit. So you attack once, you crit, you do massive fire and massive lightning damage. The lightning proliferates, so all the monsters are going to have a single shock stack from the original hit, and then you're going to have the burn go on all the targets as well. So when this happens, you have your base elemental damage being multiplied once over by the crit multiplier of your character. You have them multiplied again because they're all shock stacked, so the burn is doing increased damage. And then you have the Holy Fire increased burning damage multiplying the burn again to have even more burning damage. And I would probably assume that one shot will kill any white pack of monsters, but if you keep attacking them, you further multiply the effects through the additional shock stacks from the prior attacks, and I think the damage will be quite obscene. The reason you want to avoid cold damage is if you do crit with cold damage, the target that you crit shatters and no longer has a corpse. If it doesn't have a corpse, it can't proliferate lightning or fire to the additional targets. So that's the idea there. It's a pretty finicky build. It's a little bit annoying to level if your gear sucks, but my gear didn't. I just got, really fucking owned by the fact that Windows 8 is a giant piece of shit, and hopefully I'll get back into PoE on my discharger once I get back home a few days from now. So until then, hope you guys don't miss the PoE action too much, and I'll see you guys.